Hi guys, Rowan's back here again. Just out in the nature. You'll probably hear the frogs and the birds in the background, but never mind. Lately I've been doing a bit of a series on, or not a series, but I've been talking a bit about the coronavirus and, COVID-19 and everything, because that's so current. And I've got something for you today which I want to show you. Just to recap quickly on the other videos that I've done on the coronavirus, I was talking about the TGA website, the government website, tga.gov.au. If you go on that website, it explains how the testing for the coronavirus is very unreliable and the results are very uncertain. Okay, so I've done a few videos talking about that, one in particular that started this lot of videos. Now, there's a lot of things that comes out of that. If you go back and look at my other videos, you'll see that. The uncertainty that comes from the PCR tests, and which follows on to the uncertain results and so forth, and then we see the uncertain results on TV and the things looks more dramatic than what it really is. So and the issue of it not being properly isolated and things like that. Anyway, you can go back and look at the other videos or do your own research on that, and you'll see all those sort of things. I was talking about that, and what seems to have another thing too, what also seems to happen because of the uncertainty is when you test for other things, sometimes it comes up positive, even because the lines are blurred between the flu and the other coronaviruses, Corona-19 or whatever it is. Because the lines are blurred, it comes up positive quite often, when there maybe not be any problem at all other than the flu or something. So this is a problem. Now what's also happened recently is a lot of people are discovering this, that there's the death certificates also. They're discovering with the death certificates that when someone dies, it's mostly, if you notice, it's mostly in nursing homes and things like that, where people are, in their 70s, 80s, 90s. The majority of people that are dying of COVID-19 seem to be of that age, and in that circumstance in the nursing home, where they get to fill out the death certificates. And the thing is, with the death certificates, it says, even if they're not tested for COVID-19, they haven't had a test at all, if they show a symptom, which is a flu-like symptom, which most people in those sort of places are going to have, a cough or a headache or fever or something, well then they can assume, legally, and write them down as a COVID death, and then hence adding to the uncertain results that we get. Now I'm just going to talk a little bit on that. So what's happened is a lot of people are becoming aware of that, of the rules for how they fill out the death certificates and the uncertain results from that, which you can see on that website. And what's happened is there's been a letter written to the Australian government and to every premier in Australia. And now this is leading up for a class action against the government. Now I'll hold the letter up here. Now it's from this lawyer, which a business is called Advocate Me. So if you look at that, Advocate Me, and you look at that, you can look that up on the website and see the class action. I'm just going to go through the headings in it. Now it's 25 pages long. I'm not going to go through the whole lot right now, but I'm just going to go through the headings and the things it covers. And the things it covers are the things that we're starting to talk about, what I've been talking about in a few videos, and also what many other people are talking about. That they've collected all the evidence of what it says on the government website and how they fill out the death certificates, and questioning the reliability of the PCR tests and everything like that. It's all covered in this letter to the government, getting ready for a class action against them. Now the main the main reason for this letter from the solicitor is to make them aware of the actions that are just about to go forth if they don't change what they're doing. And what they're talking about is, it's called an open letter, and it's a request to governments to review disproportionate response to SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19. So an open letter to request government to review disproportionate response to COVID-19, basically. So it's all about the disproportionate response. That's what this is all about. Now this covers quite a lot of things. I'll just go through the headings. It covers one of the things it covers is the Belts and Road Agreement that Dan Andrews has signed with the Chinese people. Right? It doesn't sound like the COVID-19 at the moment, but you'll see how it all comes together. Now, the Belts and Roads Agreement was signed by Dan Andrews in Victoria, giving agreements for the Chinese to come and build infrastructure, and if you can't pay the loan back, then they take ownership of the infrastructure, and it's some sort of secret deal along those lines. Anyway, this letter covers that. It covers the RT-PCR test, so it's very thorough. It explains the unreliability of the PCR test and everything like that. It talks about the sovereign governments. There's another topic, a heading in it. Sovereign governments without foreign interference. So it's talking about how we need to be sovereign governments, whatever state, without foreign interference. And it's got a section on that. Preference given to Biosecurity Act, it covers that. And so what the Biosecurity Act is, Biosecurity Act 2015, is how to deal with things like a pandemic, how the country legally is to respond to a pandemic. And there's a certain way it's supposed to respond, and it's all covered in this letter. So they're bringing that to their attention, that they're responding the opposite to that, or very, very different to that. So it's illegal in that sense. States and territories acting in excess of power. That's another topic that covers that. States and territories acting in excess of power. And another section, it talks about foreign interference. That's where it comes into the Belt and Roads Agreement, because that is foreign interference. Getting the Chinese to sign an agreement to do with doing our infrastructure. That's foreign interference, and she lays all that out for them. There's problems with data and statistics. Now that's the bit where it's showing the government how when they write out the death certificates, how they can assume COVID deaths, or they can die of other things, and if they have died with the COVID, they don't write it down as, one of the things they had when they died. It gets written down as like a cause of the death. So it becomes recorded as a COVID death, even though that might have been a heart attack or other things that they died of. So they're talking about the problem with data and statistics. There's a whole section on that. And influenza vaccine mandate. There's a whole big issue on the vaccines not being tested properly, and the push to maybe making them mandating and things. So it covers all of those, all in this letter. And it also, in Victoria, where I am here, where I'm supposed to be wearing a mask, state of disaster. It covers the state of disaster. All these is covered in this lawyer's letter, and they've got this now. An interesting thing, when this was sent out, they had about a week to respond. And I don't know where it's at the moment, but I noticed, going by the dates on it, it was sent out to the government, and then within a day or two, we hear about Scott Morrison, ScoMo, actually tearing up the Belts and Road Agreement. So they already seem to be responding to the letter and knowing that they might have a class action against them. And one of the things that was in this class action covers the foreign interference with this Belt and Road Agreement. Now, apparently they've torn that up now, Scott Morrison, and it was just a few days, I heard that, a few days after this letter went out. So this, I think it's going to be very interesting in the future to see what goes down with this, to see what other things come out. But if you look up on that website, Advocate Me, you can see on the front of that all about the class action, and you can probably even download the letter. Even if you contact me, I could probably send you a copy or something. But have a look at this letter and look what's going to happen with the government. There's big changes happening. Now this, guys, is all about COVID-19. It's all about the disproportionate response to the COVID-19. It's very interesting. There's going to be rallies around Australia in every capital city. It's been organised on the 5th, which is Saturday coming. It's all to do with these type of things. It's all to do with what this solicitor has written in her open letter to the government. It's all to do with that. People are rallying or want to rally to do with the topics that she's covering, because people are becoming aware how illegal the government is responding to this in disproportionate. I mean, it's so disproportionate. It's somewhere around 99% recovery rate of getting this deadly disease. 99 something around that percentage recovery rate. So you can see how disproportionate these lockdowns are on us, and it's been tackled at some high levels. I see in Parliament they're discussing things. Hydroxychloroquine is mentioned in this letter also. She covers hydroxychloroquine, and that's coming up in government things too. People are saying, why can't we use it if it's showed to help? So this letter covers that also. So get hold of it, be aware of it, and see what happens in the future regarding this. That's all I got for you now, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little video on the what's happening with the COVID-19 and with the lockdowns and with the government and all the to and fro's that are happening with it. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. God bless you all. Bye-bye.